Sorry, I have to change my internet because hopefully this is going to work. Sorry, I have to change my internet.
So probably you can mute yourself and then when you get started. Okay, we are live on YouTube. I'll just share this link in the chat. Okay,
Sorry, I have to change my internet.
So probably you can mute yourself and then when you. Okay, I have shared the link of YouTube live in the chat. So probably you can share it on your social media profiles. In a minute, we'll just get started. I'll just open it up for everyone.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. We'll have more participants joining in now. Okay, Justin has also joined in. So thank you so much, everyone. I'm Jatin. I'm one of the co-founder of eChai. And this is the series we are doing where every Saturday evening. We are inviting founders from the community to share their experiences about how they are coping up with this COVID-19 situation. So what we will do is that probably we'll start with a brief introductions of all the participants, all the panelists. So whenever you are speaking, I'll just open up your website in the background. So most people who are watching the video, they'll get better context about your work. And then we'll get to the question. And whenever you're not speaking, you can mute yourself. But we start with one by one introduction. So Meeraj, like just brief introduction about you, what you do.
All right. So, hey guys, I'm Miraj Fahim. I run a coding bootcamp in Hyderabad called the Hacking School. We also run an online coding bootcamp called Code.in. Both the Hacking School and Code.in are based out of a co-learning space. Again, owned by us. It's called Trillion Co-working. I was part of Telangana State Innovation Cell as an innovation fellow for the first batch, 2018-19. Been an entrepreneur for about 10-11 years now. And yeah, so far so good.
Awesome. So thank you so much, Meeraj. So we started a Hyderabad chapter at Meeraj's space only. So our Hyderabad journey got started with him. And coincidentally, when we started the Chicago chapter, he was the speaker there.
Oh, yes.
Thank you so much, Meeraj, for being the all-time. So next is Diti, if you can just briefly introduce what you do, and then we'll get started with the discussions. Yes, Diti.
I'm a technologist by profession. I studied in Illinois Institute of Technology. Was there for then I worked in the US, and I was based in Chicago all 10 years. I worked with financial exchanges, trading company, Motorola mobile devices as a software professional. Then I came back to India for my personal reasons, and I took a break. Then I started my own software company. I started out with Vadodara Municipal Corporation Smart City pilot, and then I moved on to product. I do product consultancy. We have a company now. We are offering a wide range of managed IT services that includes branding, marketing, and training, product management, development, design, all sorts of things. And product is my core forte, but with my partners, we can manage all of these things.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for joining in. Next is Nishad bhai, just brief introduction. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you very much, first of all, Jatin, for inviting me. So I'm a non-nerd person, so I will probably speak quite simple. So originally from Ahmedabad, but been living in Australia for over 12 years now. And I specialize, I'm an engineer, but I've changed my career after going to Australia. So I run a startup called Your Career Down Under, where I specialize in working with migrants and international students to help them find jobs, build their career, and realize their Australian dreams. So that's the nutshell of what I do.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Next is Tarun. If you can just briefly introduce yourself.
Hey guys, hello there. This is Tarun from Hyderabad. I run a co-working space here. We have 4 centers in the city. And what we essentially do is we provide private offices, dedicated desks, virtual offices, event space for startups and businesses. But we also like to say that we are in the business of helping entrepreneurs and businesses. So currently we are solving their problem of space, which is a physical space, but we're looking in future to solve their marketing problems, their HR problems, or any other problems that they face in their businesses. So glad to be here and glad to be hearing from all the panelists.
Awesome. And we collaborate quite often with Co-Karma. So thank you so much, Tarun. Next is Dilnawaz bhai, just brief introduction. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Do I need to share the screen?
Yes, I've shared the screen.
Okay, it's shared. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, so hi everyone and good evening to everyone who's watching this. I am Dilnawaz. I am the founder and chief evangelist at a company called Code9 Labs. We call ourselves as a design ops management company where we work with corporates and startups and help them manage their entire design, communication, all that sort of backend. So we work with multiple freelancers from across the country, primarily South of India. We curate them on our platform. And then through our technical products, we help startups to or corporates to get the best of the talent from across the country. And we have a project management layer through which we manage everything. I run parallelly another company called PowerDeck, which is kind of my full-time baby. And the idea behind PowerDeck to help startups create pitch decks. So my experience of being into this space for almost 12 years and working with a couple of incubators ground up has been that incubators do not have special people to help startups in making pitch decks, and there's a lot of gap when it comes to demo day, right? So we are working with more than 20-25 plus national level incubators, and we work with their startups and help them create pitch decks and then raise funds and consult them wherever possible. Yeah. So that's it. Thank you so much, and I hope to have a great interaction with all of you. And thank you, Jatin bhai, once again for calling me. So thank you so much, guys.
And thank you so much for being a great support, everyone. So a lot of people who are in the panelists today are the ones that we end up collaborating quite often. So in a way, there are part founders and part ecosystem enablers also. So we'll have a good discussion. Vandita, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi.
So if you can just briefly introduce about what you do, and then we'll get to the discussion.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Vandita, and I run a co-working space here in Pune called The Daftar, and I also have a travel startup called Travel, where we're trying to change the way we travel in India. We're trying to combine work and travel and take people to interesting places. So yeah, that's about me.
Awesome. So Vandita, both of your businesses have been impacted by COVID-19 situation. So we'll get to a discussion where
Yes, sir.
what are you coping up with that? And now we'll have a couple of folks from Ahmedabad. So thank you so much. Hardik, if you can just briefly introduce about what you do, and then we'll get to the discussion.
Sure. First of all, thank you, Jatin, for inviting me for this. So hi, everyone. My name is Hardik Manwani, and I run a company called HMM Biz Web Solutions. So we basically help offline businesses to go online by providing various kind of IT services. Along with that, we provide custom web development for corporates, and we have also partnered with Google for various for their cloud services and email solutions. So, and we are based in Ahmedabad, having clientele across the globe. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hardik. And we do a lot of interesting webinars where we pick up a very specific topic. So next two folks are the ones who are regulars on eChai webinars. So Sahil, if you can just briefly introduce what you do, and then we'll get to the discussion now.
Yeah. Hi everyone, good evening. I am Sahil Shah. I am founder of Net Service Media Company. We are a full digital marketing company. Plus we also have a product called Hungrito, which is a food discovery platform. And with hashtag Hungrito, we have more than 40,000 postings on Instagram. Plus we have around 120,000 followers on most of our platforms. So that's all.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sahil. And the last panelist of the day, Nikita, just brief introduction, then we'll get to the discussions. We are not able to hear. You have to unmute yourself. Yes.
Oh, so hi everyone. My name is Nikita. I am based out of Ahmedabad. So I am a lawyer who did her MBA and started a logistics company. Um, so my company goes by the name of tatkalorry.com, and we specialize in movement of uh, heavy building and fragile materials with 3.5-year old.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. With this, I'll just do the stop screen, and okay, we'll have a good gallery view for us. So first of all, thank you so much, everyone. We have some participants, and we are live on YouTube also. So if you have any questions, you can ask in the chat, and then we'll get to the Q&A part. So typically, we ask our panelists to announce some sort of reward but we'll take up a lot of time. So what we will do, we have a standardized reward. So basically, when people ask question and if you like any question, you'll dedicate 10 minutes of your time to engage with that individual after this webinar gets over. So basically, you contribute with your 10 minutes of your time where you give the feedback or any support that they are looking at. I'll continue asking some of the questions that I wanted to ask. So probably you can be very brief with what you are answering, and so we can take up more questions. And we can ask questions with each other because we have people from a lot of different cities. So it would be nice to know what is happening. So we are in a stage 3. So probably last week when we did this webinar, probably the situation was probably impact is coming. This is the time when probably all of us are experiencing the impact of COVID-19 in our businesses. So probably how it is affecting personally and professionally in your business. We can do one by one. Nishad bhai, you are stuck in Ahmedabad. So how it is affecting personally and professionally, and how are you going about it? Yes.
I think we knew when we started the journey, we knew that we might get impacted. We did not know that the situation would be such. But that's I think we accepted that. And I'm visiting India after 5 years, so I don't mind staying with the family after 5 years. So that's number one. Obviously, for having 2 kids, and their schooling and everything has been impacted, but I guess that what's primary our focus is to continue to remain sane and continue to do whatever that we could in these circumstances. In terms of my work, it has impacted my work. So I do, not many people know, but I also work full time too and run my side hustle. So, in my full-time work, I've, found out that my contract will be probably coming to an end abruptly while I'm here, and there's nothing that I can do about it. And my work, a lot of job seekers that I work with have been starting to reach out to me. I've been doing LinkedIn Lives right now every day to keep spreading the message of hope and keep spreading the some new perspectives and ideas, because jobs are going to be impacted. Australia is going to lose around 1.2 million jobs. That's the prediction that they have. So 1.2 million people will be unemployed, right? And it's going to be massive, impact. Obviously, there's a lot of stimulus has come into the place, but but a lot of job seekers are feeling the heat and frustration. So at this time, not many people want to spend money on getting the coaching or training to get a job, because the jobs are also in scarcity. So that's where I am. I don't have a particular answer to my problems, but as I go along, I continue to look for collaboration ideas, look to talk to to people and find out what are they doing in their practices, and see if we could we could do something together. So it is still I'm still sure about few things, but there are many things that I'm unsure, and which is impacting the revenues of my business.
Okay, awesome. Miraj, what are your initial thoughts, and then we'll have a detailed discussion later on.
Yeah. So I'm actually going through a very interesting phase. We got acquired in December. We signed the papers in December. So the company is Australia based, and essentially we were supposed to be shifting gears, especially on our international student segment, and grow by at least 80%. That were the projections. And in fact, we had built the pipeline and everything was going good until Feb first week, I would say. That's when all of this started happening, and everything came crashing down.
Honestly speaking, I would not say I'm not affected, but considering the fact that we just sold out 2 months ago, maybe I got a little bit of buffer. And one of the best things that happened to me, I would say, again by God's grace, I would say, we were already planning to move online with Code.in. The hacking school was a offline classroom-based program, and we were brainstorming, we were experimenting with our online coding bootcamp for at least 6 months now. And I would not say I would say there couldn't have been better time for us to actually roll out this product and adopt the market.
Okay.
Having
yes.
Having said that, we are not expecting, and we were not expecting people to pay, in this time of crisis. People are not in a mood to spend, no matter what it is. So we are pretty prepared for that, and we have been, always very conscious about our spendings, and that actually helped us. So I guess we are prepared for the next 6 months.
Okay. Tarun and Vandita, you run co-working spaces. So co-working spaces are also majorly impacted. So Tarun, how are you coping up with it?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. See, with the current scenario, we feel that every business is going to face cash flow issues, and that's what we are facing as well currently, right? So there are no revenues literally coming from our clients because all of them are in a bad situation, so to say. Some of our startups are into the ride-hailing business, and as you know, everything in all the cities has stopped, right? So what we are trying to do as a business is be empathetical with the startups and the businesses that are associated with us, and see how we can help them come out of the situation, so that once things are normalized, they have a business to run, and then we can try and get back to running our spaces as we used to, right? So out of our 4 centers, 3 centers are closed currently. One of the centers is running because there is a health tech startup running from there who are into essential services. So we got lucky there. So yeah, and the other thing is, as a company, we ran very lean, right, up until now, and that is also helping us, right? Having low cost and not spending too much is showing its results now, right? So what that means for us now is we'll not have to lay off anyone in the company. It also means that we can sail through these rough tides, fairly well. So that's my take currently.
Okay, Vandita, 2 businesses, so 2 more problems. So how are you coping up with that? The travel business and the co-working business. You'll have to unmute yourself.
Sorry. Yeah. So on the co-working side, I think my thoughts pretty much resonate with Tarun's. We are also a bootstrapped company, and we've also been doing a lot of things, going lean in many ways. So of course it has impacted, but we are really trying to handle the situation one day out of the situation. We're trying to talk to our clients, make them understand what we are going through and what all we need to do, and come to something which can mutually benefit everyone. And of course, I mean, the team is a little in a different state of mind. All of us are kind of coping up with everything one day at a time. So honestly, we just can you guys hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, we're really just trying to be very calm and composed and not react. I think that's one of the rules that we're trying to follow. And with Travak, even our situation is pretty interesting with respect to that, because we're not we were still kind of taking off on that side with that particular startup, and we had not really, of course this year was like a big year. We had trips planned up every month, and we were supposed to start off from March, and it was supposed to be a very big start, and there were a lot of things, a lot of hustling happening on various fronts. But I think on that front, the good part is that we've not invested any money really, and we did not really we did not start off. We were just about to do that. So there was a big event that was supposed to happen called the Ghoom Fest, which is a travel event happening in Pune, and we were like just, I think, 4 or 5 days away from making the first set of payments to all the vendors and stuff like that. So, I mean, of course, it has pushed us back majorly, but I think there's some silver linings as well. We are also taking this time off to, plan things better, see how we can come back, better and stronger and brighter once everything is over. So I think on the travel front, it's not really that much because we did not have a lot of paying customers, or there was not, we were just like ready to go off, and we've not, it was still not there. But with Daftar, of course, a lot of things kind of have come on a halt, and we're trying to figure out ways in how we can, manage everything, the cash flows, and, retain our clients and everything. So of course, yeah, there's a lot of planning that has to happen for sure.
Okay, awesome. So Dilnawaz bhai, you were building a remote company. So for you, it's an easy transition, or how it is affecting your business now?
So I think, yeah. So one thing that I don't know how it would sound to people considering the situation globally is bad, but it worked like a charm for us. So we were already a remote company. Everybody was already kind of working from their own places. So one of the biggest components with us is that we tried hiring a lot of people locally, but we, it came out of necessity for us, right? We're not able to hire good people. And then majority of our workforce is also women who happen to be either, new moms or people who recently got married and shifted to another place, right? So from the point of view of shifting to a work from home model and remote working model, I think it didn't impact us much. Yes, on the business side, a slight dip was there, but again, I think we were initially also giving a lot of handholding to our clients. So yeah, a slight dip is there, of course, but yeah, we are pretty stable considering we are a B2B company. So if the businesses who are associated with us stay afloat, plus we also kind of, I should not call essential, but we are essential for running their business. So we are still there in place. So a couple of things I want to kind of talk about. One is, of course, the remote working thing. So in fact, we also shared one of the ebooks as a first version of our experience of, how can people typically migrate, because a lot of our clients started reaching out to us in terms of how do you do it? Because we have always been telling people in terms of technology, ke kar lo, right? Remote is the future, and you should somehow also be fine with hiring remote people, which people were not taking very seriously. But this has, this came like a danda. You can't avoid this. So it has come in the positive way. Also, as I said, hand-holding kar rahe clients ko, so we are working with them very closely. One thing which got majorly impacted was my training kind of tour. So almost 6 or 7 of my, so now I'm talking about the Power Deck part of the entire business, right? Where a lot of trainings were involved, working with incubators. So March mein I cancelled 6 of my trainings. And these were like major trainings and major boot camps spread across. So one was in Ahmedabad, one was in Patna, one was in Uttarakhand, and then 3 were locally in Rajasthan. So 6 bade boot camp cancel hue. But now again, I'm trying to completely migrate onto webinars, which I was already doing. But abhi, I'm still contemplating, because everybody is on digital now. So usko kaise figure out karna hai. But another thing that also kind of gave a lot of leeway period to a lot of my startups was that it's a good time to prepare for funding. So as I said, Power Deck, I'm also working with a lot of startups and helping them raise fund. So funding market has gone down completely. So investors are only focusing on their portfolio companies, and new funding is not coming into the picture. But I think it's a great time for startups to prepare for funding, because the moment market is going to reopen, I think people will somehow try to kind of come onto the trajectory once again. So not everything is dark, but yeah, there's some silver lining in the entire situation. And yeah, as an entrepreneur, we need to be positive. So yeah, that's from my side.
Well said. Thank you so much. Next is Deepti. Just brief about how it is affecting personally and professionally to your stuff currently.
So personally, I had been working from home office since last. I have worked for like 5 years, and then since last 1 year I have been working with. As a partner, I joined another company, and we are working together now. So for me, I'm used to this. So for me, it's not new. Professionally, yes. So we have multiple verticals. So in the projects which were in pipeline, the clients who were in pipeline, they have put a pause. They have hit the pause button right now. So everybody is kind of waiting for this COVID period to pass, maybe a couple of months down the line. We are in constant touch with them. We are communicating. We are also discussing about the projects which we serve B2B clients. So we do discuss about the possibilities and how we'll do it and the proposals, etc. But it's still in the funnel. They are not ready to move forward. We do have another vertical, staffing, which is we are betting big on that. We have staffing. We have presence in the North America and India both. So we are going bullish on that, and we are hoping to pick up on that. We already have some clients asking us for staffing help, and we are proactively working on that. So I guess pluses and minuses in business. One vertical might be going down, but another vertical is looking bullish. So I guess that is how the market trend is right now, and we also have to take call accordingly. So, and if I look at technology, the development, etc., everything is on hold. Even we have our own product, and we have our educational ERP, and we have multiple clients, and we were in talks of offering new features and adding new stuff to it, but everybody has asked for a pause right now. Everybody's like, wait and watch, let's see what happens, and once the things like ease off, then they will move forward. So there is a cash flow problem. The staffing is looking on the positive side, it's looking good, but it too has to pick up. People are still not in hiring mode per se. So
I want to understand,
fingers crossed.
Who don't have a cash flow problem, so that those who have a cash flow problem, I can connect them with those guys. Next, Nikita, you are in a transport business, so your business is significantly affected. How is the situation?
Yeah, so we are completely shut. Like there is absolutely no business since 22nd of March, and so yeah, because we're not essential services, of course, and transportation is one of the key modes of transferring the disease as well. So yeah, we are completely shut. Cash flow problem, I think मुझसे ज़्यादा किसी को नहीं हो सकता. So I win that game, and yeah.
People before you mentioned that, and they are significantly doing well. So probably later on I'll reach out to them. What's up?
So the problem that we will be facing is we directly engage with the manufacturers and the dealer. It's more of a B2B business, and the second thing is the industry in which I work in, they're not very technologically advanced also. So again, that and very operational heavy. So जितनी वाट लग सकती थी सारी लग चुकी है. Literally ऐसा हुआ है. So अभी the time that we're right now utilizing, we were actually on the growth period, and I hired a lot in March beginning because I had a trajectory planned for us for this year, and we hired a lot, and that is obviously lashing back right now. So the things that we're not doing right now, we're not laying off anyone. We are trying to churn our cycle, and we've worked out on a budget also. Okay, this is the amount that we need to keep our cycle continuous, because eventually we deal with those people who are truckers and tempo drivers. We have to do daily payments as well. Considering that, we are actually utilizing this time to train everybody in our company technologically, because we cannot hire a बहुत ज़्यादा educationally advanced लोग. So we are trying to teach all our employees right now. आज first time I did a Zoom webinar with them. That was the first time we did that ever in our company, and it was really fun and interesting how everyone is coping up with this. And we told them how we're going to do the salaries and there are going to be delays. And I've been lucky. I have an incredible team and everybody is extremely supportive. And so we're planning ki kaise move karna hai in future. And so the very simple mode that we'll be using is in the next 3 months, we will be working on lower margins, but more of giving services so that we can be back where we were exactly when we left off in March.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nikita. Hardik, you run a tech consulting firm. So those are doing really well. So how's the situation at your end?
Yeah, so the thing is that, personally, it was very challenging initially to get in terms with lockdown, because I am somebody who just comes home to just sleep, and I live on Swiggy and Zomato. So that was very challenging for me. But
Are you cooking
initially,
now?
yeah, so initially a couple of days was like very irritating, because I felt like going out, and I was not able to. Then I came in terms with this lockdown. I'm like, this is what it is, and you have to just go ahead and keep the show running. So changed my routine. Started reading a lot, because I got a lot of time. Tried my hand on cooking, and we are fortunate enough that we can work from home. The entire team works for home, so that's a good thing from our side. But it was not something that we used to follow in our company. So everybody used to come at the workplace and work over there. So it was very important to streamline the entire work from home, and to keep the team also motivated to keep the show running. So that is one. In terms of the businesses, so we are into so what we had done was, like, we are into diversified services. So some services are like essential services like email solutions, or the server solutions, or the Google Cloud. So these are like essential services which the client does not stop, and they continue with it. Some services which are like promotional services, so that has come to an halt, because the clients are not looking to promote their services or their products as of now. So that has come to an halt. Some projects which are like long-term projects, like 6 months, 1 year project, so those are still continuing. Uh, so some projects which were there on the back burner from our clients and from our end as well, like redeveloping our own website. So we have started working on that, so that when the markets are better and the things are much better, we can just go out and all out with
Okay.
our own promotional services and etc. So yeah, I mean, initially it was difficult.
All
But
in all, things are going good for you.
sorry.
All in all, things are going good for you.
Yeah.
Sahil, okay, Sahil was the person who asked me to do this webinar. Else we were doing this digital marketing, fundraising, educational webinar. So Sahil, you have to become a co-host now and not the panelist. What question you wanted to ask with the founders? I got the founders together from a lot of different cities. So you should ask one question. You ask questions. Next 2-3 questions. And meanwhile, Sanjay Togodia, who is the founder of RK Infotech and based in Rajkot, he has asked this question. Nowadays, how a response from education for live class? So Nashad, you are into education. So what is your response to it? And then anybody else would want to pitch in. And
I can
Meeraj, you
also.
Nashad,
I think it is. Yeah, I think it is. It is becoming. Even before this COVID thing, I think it is becoming very clear that we all have to be perpetual learner. One of the things that I liked in a book that Reid Hoffman wrote about the startup of you, which is around career management in 21st century, and he argues with an idea called permanent beta, which is kind of contradicting each other. If it's a permanent, it can't be beta. If it's beta, it's not permanent. But that's what he argues, that we all have to be continuously reevaluating, continuously learning, things. And that is what my view on that too. I think it just not, obviously, COVID could be a wake-up call for many people around that. We spoke to somebody who specializes in dealing with uncertainty of careers, And I think there are a lot of values that we could take around. Use this time to reflect on what you have done. And we don't usually treat. We are binded by, in my view, we are binded by our job title. We don't see ourselves as the skills that we have developed over a period of time. So I think critically examining the skills that we have developed, that's vocational skills, non-vocational skills, anything. I think this time could be used to look at that too. But perpetual learning, I can't sort of stress enough on that. But both the things, non-vocational and vocational learning, just not focus on learning blockchain. But if you can't explain what blockchain is to your investors or to your employer, I don't think so. It's useful. Just that. So focus on both of them.
Okay. Miraj, do you do online boot camps? You were doing residential boot camps. So how is the response?
Oh, yes. So like I said, we were experimenting for the last 6-7 months on, taking our boot camp online. So we already had a strategy in place where we really wanted to productize our services, right? And that was a very conscious strategy and very conscious efforts that we were making for quite some time. But obviously, chal raha tha to chala rahe the was kind of a story that was. But then with all of this thing, especially March 22, which coincidentally was also my birthday, we said we had to do it. I mean, right? So it took us in 36 hours, my team hacked out a virtual classroom product for ourselves to begin with. And then in less than 5 days, what we did was we converted this virtual classroom into a virtual school thing and then onboarded 3 schools in 20 days. So that, obviously became a new product. We rolled out it into a new, product channel and a revenue stream. We said, the first 2-3 months, the schools can use it for free because obviously you guys might have not budgeted for it and stuff like that. But we are very hopeful, we are seeing a pattern in, the change of habits here, especially in the, the learning habits of the students, especially the kids at the school level, students at the college level, teachers, their training patterns, the way they are assigning, homework, assignments, the quizzes, I'm seeing a change in habits here, right? So I believe there will be a lot of new product opportunities in the market that will be tapping onto these, newly formed habits, right? So that is something that I would urge all the entrepreneurs to, keep an open eye for. Also, this market crash is more of a market correction. I don't want to sound very harsh, and I know I usually come out as, really straightforward and blunt. But then I would not call this a market crash. This is a market correction, right? So the salaries in the market were, skyrocketed. I don't know why, right? And the candidates were literally, hunting on jobs and, chasing job offers and, competing with offer letters. That was ridiculous, right? And all of that stopped at once. And people are wanting to go back to their jobs with 50% cut. So definitely, market needed correction with all due respect. And, I empathize with everybody who is losing their jobs. But then if there is a, sudden spike in something, then it will have to come back and correct itself. So what I believe and what I would insist, everybody, not just entrepreneurs, but also, people who are working in startups, working in companies, they have to figure out and, go lean. They have to realize that, what comes fast goes fast. So it has to make sense all the time. So they have to be prepared for, bad times. Nobody has planned for it. Nobody had planned for it. I was supposed to go back to, the US, but then now I'm stuck here for the next 6 months. So yeah, we are prepared for it. The point is, we have to look, for the silver line, pick up the opportunities, start working for it, start preparing ourselves for it so that, when the market is ready to pay, we are out there leveraging that.
Okay, so there is a question around cash flow that I want to ask all of you. Sahil, but you have to ask questions. So what are the questions that you are having?
So I had yeah. So major question which I had in the beginning also, and with most of the people, I ask them the same thing. So there is a setup at home that when you are home is something that people say it gives you peace of mind. And sometimes for startups, it is a rescue or a kind of place where you go and then, like I think Hardik said that his home is a place where he goes and sleeps. So I also I also work on those mindset. If I'm at home, I sleep.
Or not?
Yes. No, I am not married. Hardik, I don't think so.
No. Okay. Yes, I.
So how do you deal with that part? Because now your home is your office. So sometimes there is no line that, okay, it is 8 o'clock or it is 9 o'clock. Most of us work after that also, but our mindset is not that if you are in office, we deal with a lot of people around. And when you go home, then just now also we have to deal with people. So at 9 o'clock also we have a Zoom call where we are telling people, okay, these are the things that you have to do or things like that. So how do you all deal with that?
So just a couple of things. If you say that home is awesome, then that by default, that is a by default answer. Talk about the challenges. Yes.
So let me chip in. Let me chip in here. So on the risk of sounding arrogant or bullish or maybe an idiot, can you see both the boards there? Okay, fantastic. It was not intended for this, by the way. So I have two computers, one Windows and one Mac, and that's my setup. And then I have a small tripod for stuff and this. So I am a hardcore night person, right? I cannot operate during the day, and I'm putting it on record like 100th time. My momentum or my functioning begins somewhere around 3 or 5 or 6 or 5 or 6 in the evening. So this is like the most productive time I have, and it goes back till 4 or 5 in the morning when I'm finally ready to crash down. And then my idea of sleep is exactly what Hardik said: just go on the bed and crash, and then you wake up at like 11, 12 whenever you wake up, and then you kind of do your stuff, this, that. And then I find and I'm afraid my co-founder, if she ever watches this, she's going to kill me, although she knows about all this entire story. I find office to be one of the biggest distraction areas. I can't operate in office, so all I do is work on stupid things like writing emails or doing calls and this and that, which requires least of creativity or productivity, right? Wherein my co-founder is a morning person. She like begins her day at like 7 or 8, and by 9 she's like, bang on, I'm ready to rock the world. And I have been getting thrashed down for this, but I am so happy with this lockdown that I am able to operate at my maximum capacity. I'm working on my future products, I'm working on my tech, I'm doing ebooks, I'm doing webinars, and I'm doing calls. So I'm really happy with this quarantine team and quarantine time. And then also I'm a little paranoid. So for me, despite the fact it's like a 10th day in terms of lockdown, for me it's like a 20th day. I quarantined myself long back before even it started happening, because one of the reasons why I felt a little sick, and it was a regular flu though, and I got paranoid that what the hell has happened. So roughly around pre-Holi, I quarantined myself, and since then I am having the time of my life. So yeah, I'm really happy. And I don't know, as I said, we all have a certain level of privilege that we can work from home, and we don't have to bother about what's happening on the ground. But yeah, I think for people like us, I think it's the best time, at least what I can say. And I don't like people.
Tarun, you have a fantastic office space. So do you feel bad that you're not able to enjoy that space and have to? So what is your situation?
Oh yeah, I'm the opposite of Dinawaz. I miss my office. So I think, see, here's how we see it, right? So many people are working from home now, and when we look at Twitter, there are people tweeting saying, "Hey, I miss my office," right? So I think after the quarantine is over, people are going to come out and crush to our spaces, and maybe they would want more spaces from us after this.
And personally, like, how are you doing stuff in home?
It's a welcome break for me. I mean, I haven't had a personal break in the past 18 months, so I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Right, I get to.
We have a lot of Australia connection. You have studied in Australia.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. And then we have a trainer from Australia. And somebody said that they've been to
They
Australia.
sold their business to Australia.
Yeah. Yep, Miraj. Yes.
Yep.
Oh,
So it's a welcome break. So I'm reading a book after a long time. I'm doing more exercise. Things things that were pending on my list. I'm trying to get all of those done. So yeah, I'm taking it very positively.
Mira, you also have a good setup, and then Vandita, like you
I
have a fantastic office spaces. So how are you doing stuff at home?
I have a slightly hybrid take on this. Office is definitely my happy place, right? So when I'm in office, I'm like, yes, that's my stage, and I'm ready to rock. But to be very, very honest, I'm always working. Always. Like it can be office, it can be a banquet hall, or it can be my bedroom. So I'm always working. One of the best things that that I'm extremely fortunate to have is my house has a pretty entrepreneurial environment. So business is our dining table conversation, and we talk about trends, we talk about business, we talk about stuff, right? And that actually uh, does not make me feel I don't miss my office. But then definitely, the kind of stuff that we do in office, there's a lot of people, a lot of new people coming in, going out. The energy is different in office. So definitely miss that positive vibe, that energy. But then my house is pretty incubatorish, so
Okay.
I guess I'm not missing it that much. And the productivity is always good, always working. And we never had we had a pretty relaxed work culture. Nobody had to report on time. There are no timings. People could work from their home, from office, from wherever they felt comfortable, and all of that. So also there was no knee-jerk reaction for us when all of this happened. People were like, yeah, we are used to this. So it's just that the office is shut, and we are not spending on office maintenance.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
maybe
Just
I
one thing. Yeah, one thing to add before you jump. So maybe one of the reasons for this, for me at least, may be that one, I stay alone, right? And I prefer that way because I tried living with people earlier, and then I find too much of distraction because then they would want to watch a football match or want to do a house party, which I'm not a big fan of. So I think one, I stay alone, and then second, of course, my entire team is remote. So I think this is one of the reasons why I think this is a much more convenient or much more productive time for me. And maybe that's maybe one more thing I want to kind of add and clarify on.
so I'll just answer what Sahil asked for.
Yes.
People like us who stay at home and who love offices and the environment, and जिनको actually 9 से 9 काम करना पड़ता है, जो ऑप्स हैवी इंडस्ट्री में है, या जिनका कस्टमर सर्विस वाला बहुत है, तुम्हारा और मेरे जैसा, देखिए यार, ऐसा है ना कि 12 घंटे कोई काम नहीं करता है, इफेक्टिव और प्रोडक्टिव काम 6 घंटे ही होता है. So what I have started doing is I dedicate those 6 hours. When you are work from home नहीं होता है, work at home भी होता है. You have to work. घर का काम भी रहता ही है, right? वो फालतू का काम आता ही रहता है. ये कर दो, वो कर दो. So what we can actually do is I dedicate 3 hours पहले. Say I'll work from like 12 to 3, and then I'll take a break, and then I work from 9 to 12. So the 3 घंटे we have to make sure that those are the task time, and between 12 to 3 you can also address your employees because वो time available होगा सबके पास. It's either their nap time अभी quarantine में, or it's their lunch time, so you can allocate time according to it. And 9 to 12 में you can do your own work कि आपको कल कैसे कहाँ address करना है. So 6 hours should be really and extremely productive, and I think that works for people who actually have been working in offices and who like their people, who are surrounded with people like me. I hope that answers it.
Yeah, so with Vandita, we did a webinar on why people should travel to grow their business. So Vandita, how are you taking up this situation?
Well, honestly, like most of you said, this is also a time when we're just kind of taking a pause, rebooting. So for me, the good thing is I have 2 kids, by the way, at home. One is 2.5 and one is 6. So it's like really a madhouse right now. But and they're like super hyperactive kids. They get up before both the parents get up, and they sleep the last. So it's kind of crazy here. But then for me, the good thing is that I don't have have a pattern. Like, I'll work in the night, ask you to work in the day, I'll work in the day. Abhi obviously खाना बनाना होता है, बर्तन धोना होता है, सब कुछ करना होता है. And even if my husband wants to help me, I don't like that help because he's very, like inefficient because he doesn't do that work. So मुझे ऐसा होता है कि भाई तू छोड़ दे, I'll just get it done, like just leave it. You just take care of the kids and I'll take care of everything else. So I think what has really been playing in my favor is that, I'm not somebody who likes to, get up at a certain time, sleep at a certain time, do things that, in a certain structure. I hate structures for the record. Like I can't be, like I'm quite messed up. I'm all over the place and I like it that way. And so for me, this has been working okay. I mean, of course, I really want to go out and, be at a new place and, work from there and explore and everything. But I'm just taking this time off, just like everyone else. I'm reading that book. I'm spending time with my kids. Both of us are very, very workaholic, me and my husband. So we're like working from 7 in the morning till like we can go up endlessly.
Okay.
I think we like that. So yeah, I mean, it's working fine with me. I mean, what's happening? Luckily, like I said, my team also has adapted very well to being remote and everything. It's not really a challenge that people are unavailable or they're not doing their work. I think we're working with quite a mature workforce these days. I mean, even though people are young, they understand, how much time they need to put in, and they understand the basic necessities of, being in a company and being in a team and being in a startup. So I think it's working perfectly fine for me so far. I've not been driven nuts by this yet.
Awesome. Nashad, you were in India for a personal visit or it was a professional visit? And if it was a personal visit, now you are stuck doing your professional work.
No, it was actually I was presenting at an international career conference here, and that got cancelled a week before we started from Melbourne. But the flights were booked in December, so we decided to just carry along with our visit, knowing some of the risks involved with that. So then it looked like, and I had some workshops planned and everything, nothing really happened. And something other thing that has happened, which I did not even anticipate. But that's how it was. It was, purely professional plus personal, but it has turned into an absolute personal.
Okay. Awesome. So there is a lot of questions that a lot of people have, and those will be watching the video about the cash flows. So how are you managing it, your businesses? And what are because for a lot of startup businesses, their main revenue channel has become absolutely zero now. So what are the ways that they can just maneuver so that they can sustain or survive till the time everything becomes probably not normal as it was before, but at least they can extend that runway to survive for longer. So probably, for a minute, briefly, all of you can answer. Diti, how are you managing cash flow, your cash flow now? And what would be your advice to somebody else who would want to generate more cash flow? Yes, Diti.
I guess to generate the more cash flow at this point in time would be, I mean, I don't know if I have any advice because even I don't know about it, but right now we just sustain the clients which we have, even if they are not paying on time, even if they are cutting down their services being taken from us. Even if they do that, we just sustain that and we just keep doing that very religiously to make sure, understand their requirements, their pain points, their difficulties as well. Even if invoices get late, if they are not paid on time, I mean, we have to accommodate that. I feel that right now is the best time to, introspect as a company and figure out what you can do best. Because right now you will have a lot of time at hand. That's what we are doing. We are kind of strategizing what we will be doing next 2 to 3 months and next quarter and the quarter after, how our strategy would be. We are working on that, how we'll be approaching clients. The clients, the topics which are there in the pipeline. We are also strategizing on that. How our offerings will be. A lot of creativity will come down right now. Can you hear me? It says.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess this time we are utilizing to improve ourselves, and cash flow, building cash flow will come down, I guess, down the line 2 quarters from now. So we are being optimistic, and let's see, hoping for the best.
Hope for the best. Hardik, how are you managing your cash flow, and what would be your advice?
Yeah, regarding the cash flow, what we are doing is that we are trying to have as much as liquid funds as possible. So whatever that savings that we have earned throughout these many years, we are just ensuring that it is at the disposal whenever required. So that is one thing. Secondly, we are just saying our employees to just hang in over there, because if you kind of hang in the difficult times as a startup or as a company, we will definitely ensure that that we take good care of yours when the situations are better. So I have a very supportive team who supports this thing, and no matter what kind of work we give them, we just tell them to just stay with us, and we will definitely ensure that in the future, and we will definitely take care of yours. So something like increments, salaries and other stuff. So we did mention that there could be some salary cuts or something of that sort. We don't know, nobody knows it, but we will definitely ensure that we do not have any layoffs, because that would be very inhuman to do it from our end. And secondly, I would also suggest that the startups who are there, see if you can find some opportunities regarding the healthcare segment, or something to do with the COVID-19, or anything that you can help the government with any of your ideas. If you have some prototypes, and if you are looking some tech help, then we are also there to. Our team is also at disposal to help in that. Maybe in the future, and it could definitely help. So if like the physical stuffs are at a standstill, so but there are like other opportunities which could be there, so it's important to just explore them. So we have seen that telemedication, which was not very popular in India, but because of some rules and regulations, so those rules and regulations have been relaxed. So we are looking at something to do in telemedication, to ensure that the patients who are not having coronavirus, but some other disease, so they can have some telemedication, so that that can be helpful. So yeah, this
lot
is
of
what.
ideas that you give. Awesome. Tarun, how are you managing your cash flow, and what would you be your advice to the founders?
Yeah, so see, one thing that we understand as a company right now is that the current scenario is temporary, right? So things are going to get better after 3 to 4 months once everything settles. So in terms of cash flow, we were lucky, so to say that we were at 85-90% capacity before all this started. So that way, whatever runway we had in the past 5-6 months is going to help us in the next 3-4 months. And the second thing that we are doing is we are negotiating with our vendors, we are negotiating with our landlords, right? So we are going back to them and saying that, hey, we are in this situation, we are not receiving any input or rents from our clients. So it's very hard for us to, pay our rent, so to say, right? We are making sure that we don't cut any salaries. We are not, we are paying all our salaries in full to our employees. And because we run very lean, we don't have a lot of employees, right? So among our 4 centers, we have only 2 community managers, right? So that's not very hard to manage. And we have about 8 housekeeping staff and a few security staff, right? So that's sort of easy to manage in the current scenario. The second thing I would advise to the entrepreneurs out there is don't be afraid to ask for help, right? There are people around you, there are people in the community that are out there ready to help. And one of the things that we are doing as an initiative is me with a friend in San Francisco, we are starting a Slack channel where we are collating people or creating a community of people who are putting up their hand to help people who have been impacted due to the current scenario. And we are also collecting a database of people who are looking for help, right? So it's a two-way community that we are creating, where there are people, there are going to be people who are ready to help with their products or whatever they can offer. And on the other side, there'll be a community of people who are looking for help, right? So what we as a business is trying to do is we are trying to, see how we can get as much help for these startups that are in our ecosystem, and also see how we can leverage our ecosystem to get some help for the companies that are associated with us.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's my 2 cents on that.
Yes, and I believe there could be a lot of collaboration that could happen within the people who are right now live with us, because there could be a lot of things that can happen together. Vandita, how are you managing your cash flow, and what would be your advice to the founders? You have to unmute yourself and speak. Or Mira, you can go this side, probably once.
Yeah.
Acha, she's
Okay.
Yeah, Vandita.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes, clearly.
Okay. Well, I'm going to start with my take before I tell you how I'm handling my cash flows. So I think our take was like both me and my husband are running our own different ventures. And one thing that we definitely did was, talk to ourselves, try to understand what is our frame of mind and what do we really want to do? What do we feel is going to be really Yeah, I think I'm just going to stop my video for a minute.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm having like major internet issues at home. So
Okay.
I think one of the things that we definitely did was, which I think I would ask all the entrepreneurs to do would be that, really ask yourself how are you really wanting to deal with the situation? What is really right for your organization, for your team, for yourselves? And how's your mental state to kind of, combat this situation? I think that it starts from there. That's like the essential part, and that's what I also did. Me and my husband both sat down, and we obviously with travel things were very, very different because we were not really
Yes, Vandita, we missed that part.
it's constantly taking me off. Am I connected or not?
No, we missed after you mentioned really.
Yeah.
This happened twice, so you should not mention really now.
Hold on, I think my internet is still bad. If you can just talk to someone else, I'll just maybe change my connection and I'll just maybe
Yeah. Miraj, how are you handling the cash flow?
Yeah.
Yes.
So with respect to the cash flows, obviously, the incoming cash flows have been affected badly. But what we felt was, this is going to be a very interesting time for us to try the premium model part, especially with respect to our new product portfolio. The best thing is we have a buffer for the next 5-6 months. We have never been, lavish in our spendings. We were always on, a pretty tight budget, very, disciplined with respect to where we wanted to spend, how we wanted to spend, always view economy. So that way, we never lived the life of a, TV-based entrepreneur. We were always real life entrepreneurs, focusing on things and, very tight. So we are pretty good for the next 5-6 months, God willing. And what we believe is, things will look better from in at least, from the next a month or so. So with respect to, again, we are not, in fact, what we did was we opened up our co-working space for free to, all our current occupants. We said that they don't have to pay the rent for March, obviously, April and May. And after May, for the next 3 months, we have cut down their rents, by 50%. So they can pay up to 50% only. Even in this case, a couple of our occupants were very nice to pay the full rent. So, it's a nice world out there, there are still, very nice people. So we believe in just paying it forward, and we are, seeing what we can do for people, and people are seeing what they can do for others. And I think that's exactly what's keeping all of us alive.
Yeah. Awesome. Nikita, how are you managing your cash flow? You have to unmute yourself.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
So thankfully we had certain reserves with us. However, we as board, the entire board took a decision that we'll not be using that reserve right now. What we're definitely going to do is we're going to reduce our outstandings and use that money to churn the cycle and pay the salary. We plan not to use the reserve because we don't know how the next 2 months going to be. And once the market opens, we will need funds anyway. So if we use the reserve right now, we don't know how backlash would be happening. So the first thing that we've already started doing from the 1st of April was we started going after our outstandings, and we requested our dealers that even if you don't pay in full, pay in half, because we have to pay our laborers and tempo drivers. The second thing we did and we're doing is delaying the payments to the tempo drivers and truckers. Again, not paying them in full, paying them in half. So this the essential point that we're going to make sure is try and make sure that the same amount goes around in the cycle for the next few months. Because there's not going to be a lot of turnover. People don't have money to pay right now in the market, especially in the real estate industry. And we will have to pay. So no layoffs right now, but delays in salary, of course. No incentives till we reach a certain turnover. No increment for the next 3 months, even if you've completed a year. And in after a month, there'll be a performance review that we took a decision again. Yeah,
These are very challenging times.
very difficult, but I think we'll get through this because we have a strong outstanding there for us to back up. We'll be utilizing that money, and we are essential in this particular industry. So, and our ticket size is very small, so I think we'll get through it easily once the market opens.
Nishad, how are you managing the cash flow, and what would you advise to the other founders?
Look, I don't think so. I've built a successful business like some of these entrepreneurs. So I would probably not give any advice on cash flow because I'm pretty pathetic at managing finances. I don't have much experience with cash flow as such because it is still a side hustle. So my primary revenue, my primary revenue comes from the full-time work that I do. So I'll probably pass the question honestly. I don't want to misguide anyone.
Yeah. Vandita, or probably we'll take Sahil, and then Dilnawaz, you have built a resource, so probably we'll end with you in this question. Sahil, how are you managing the cash flow?
So what just now we had 3 clients, major clients for up till June, and all of them were into events. So all the events have been cancelled, and so we are now likely looking at a revenue inflow of around 0
Yes.
for
So
next 3 months.
For me, the battery is 0.
So we have 2 or 3 of our clients who are on a recurring basis. Who give us small but continuous revenue. So we are focusing on them, helping them out in this situation so that we get few bills crossed. To at least give salary to 50% of the staff, and then we are still figuring out how we can sustain the staff and do that. So no layoffs and nothing of that sort. We are still thinking.
I'll just add to what Sahil said. I think this is an incredible time to look for other sources of revenues. Like if you're in the same field, like we deal right now in tiles and sanitary only. So we will be expanding to plywood and veneer and foam sheet. And the second thing, what people who are involved with a small ticket size can do is they can actually reach out to them and try and give them service. So your cycle keeps on churning. Maybe not a lot of margin, भले सिर्फ 10% margin हो आपका इस वक्त, बट एक बार अगर साइकिल चर्न होता रहेगा ना तो आप सस्टेन कर लोगे अगले 4 महीने, अदरवाइज नहीं कर पाओगे यार, बिजनेस ही नहीं बचेगा बिजनेस चलाने के लिए। तो वो करना बहुत जरूरी है। तो as of today, the meeting that I conducted, I told my staff कि बॉस जो मिलता है ना ले लेना, थोड़ा सा मार्जिन रखना कि तुम्हारी सैलरी निकल जाए और ले लेना, अपना बस रेंट सैलरी निकल जाना चाहिए, बाकी तुम्हारा सब नैया पार हो जाएगी 3 महीने बाद। Because once you reach the specific turnover, and this is a very interesting thing that I did with my staff कि boss, I'll be dividing your salary on, if you don't get me the outstanding, your salaries are on turnover, and वो turnover पहुंचने के लिए आपको 3 महीने लग जाएगा, तो कोई चाहेगा ही नहीं कि इतना डिले करे, तो वो automatically outstanding खींच के लाएंगे। This is one thing that I always tell people कि आपके sales का जो incentive होता है, link that to outstanding, and that works beautifully, and ops ka you should link it to turnover. And that always works essentially for any kind of business. It'll work.
Awesome. Last 5 minutes of this discussion. So Dilnawaz, how are you managing your cash flow? And you started initiative to help other startups. So what is that?
Yes. So I think then, so I have a couple of points that I want to kind of mention here. So I think, listening everybody, it's very interesting because it's actually very interesting time. And I'm very sure out of this, our entire generation of entrepreneurs, जितने भी लोग किताब लिखने वाले हैं ना, इस पे एक चैप्टर सबकी किताब में होने वाला है कि भैया how we survived COVID-19, ठीक है? Because wherein a few businesses have just skyrocketed, like, education, edtech companies went all gaga and crazy, and your fintech went all crazy. So different technology, Zoom. Like, 20x increase.
$40 का सब्सक्रिप्शन पे करता था, ये वेबिनार के चक्कर में और $40 का पे करना पड़ा।
Exactly, but अभी एक आध दो दिन पहले I heard the news कि some hacking thing is happening and they've stopped giving new subscription, things like that. But ठीक है, that's a part of the journey. But I think it's amazing. मतलब जहाँ पर, so I have got clients from travel, event, hospitality industry, gourmet foods. उनकी लग गई है, सबके धंधे बंद। उधर उल्टा जितने आपके B2B typical business थे, all of them are like thriving like anything. EdTech is going crazy. Like everybody has moved into that. College वाले सब online पढ़ाने आ गए, tie-ups कर रहे हैं. So I think it's a very interesting and exciting times, I would say. And कुछ के लिए बहुत अच्छा है, कुछ के लिए बहुत बुरा है. And anticipate तो नहीं किया था. Another point, maybe before I jump onto the cash flow part, is I think मुझे ऐसा भी लगता है ना, and I think what Miraj initially mentioned, I was calculating this couple of days back with one of the people I knew, and I was telling them कि 30% आप रहने का खर्चा देते हो और 20% ट्रैवल का खर्चा देते हो, तो 50% सैलरी आपकी इसमें जाती है. And I've been a very firm advocate of remote working because हमें टेक्निकली बंदे नहीं मिले जयपुर में, ठीक है, और the entire foundation of Codina Labs came from this thing कि tier 2 tier 3 में टैलेंट नहीं मिलता, और मिलता भी आपको ट्रेन करो फिर वो भाग जाते हैं, राइट? So we faced tough time both in terms of tech talent or whether in terms of operation talent, ठीक है. फिर छोटे शहर में sincerity भी नहीं है लोगों में उतनी, ठीक है, फिर उनको सैलरी भी उतनी चाहिए, तो वो it's a very vicious cycle. So I'm sure salary cuts and market correction is definitely going to happen. Coming on to my cash flow, see, मेरा cash flow ऐसा है that I'll again answer this in 2 parts. One, direct impact अभी नहीं है because as I said, we are a B2B business, so we are a very integral part of the system of whatever we do for our startups or our businesses, और plus कुछ अच्छे corporate clients भी हैं. So therefore, there's no direct cash flow problem which is happening with us right now. But अगर जो स्टार्टअप से जो बिजनेस इनके साथ काम कर रहे हैं उनका इशू आएगा तो देन डेफिनेटली हम लोग को चैलेंज होगा उसके अंदर, ठीक है. बट देन I think I would give this credit where it is due. My co-founder is a chartered accountant, and her background has been into financial planning industry. So she was almost second in command into a financial planning company, and she was the head of business development. So we had good number of resources in terms of we invested at right places from the company, created a liquid fund and that kind of a cash pool, which companies typically do not do. And then luckily we were profitable this year and we had good number of margin. तो आज दिन में हमारा बात हो रहा था, and again, being a founder वो waves चलता है, तो we were like कितने टाइम चला लेंगे अपन, तो we were like कि हाँ ठीक है 6 महीना साल भर, तो 6 महीना तो चल जाएगा काम. And then I hope, considering the nature of business we have, we will kind of float around it. So yeah, one advice which I would definitely give to everybody who's watching this, I think strong इन जनरल फाइनेंशियल प्लानिंग और जो लोग बोलते हैं ना कि एसआईपी चला के रखो, कैश रिजर्व बना के रखो, वो आई थिंक आज काम आ रही है। तो हम पिछले 2-2.5 साल से एसआईपी रन कर रहे हैं कंपनी के नाम पे, एंड वी हैड क्रिएटेड सम सॉर्ट ऑफ इमरजेंसी फंड फॉर द बिजनेस, एंड चलो आ गया टाइम इमरजेंसी फंड को एटलीस्ट इस्तेमाल करने का.
I'll just use 2 lines to probably
sure
the bottom line in very simple words again, for everybody who's watching. Make hay while the sun shines and save for the rainy day. Simple.
Absolutely.
Well said.
And वो Silicon Valley type के जो shows होते हैं ना, please try to keep yourself away from it. वो lifestyle is not required. किसी को दिखाने की जरूरत नहीं है. At the end of the day, what matters is you're paying your team on time, and that's it.
So there was a breed of just to kind of so I'll just add 2 more points before I kind of conclude, and then Jatin bhai, you can take over. So one, of course, I had a breed of entrepreneurs coming to me who were getting inspired by watching Silicon Valley and pictures, and I never when I was in incubator back in those days, and I never used to talk to those kids. I was like कि भाई अभी 10 साल बाद देखना, अभी चलता नहीं है. Yeah, but on to the serious part where I need definitely your help. मैंने चैट में 2 लिंक्स पोस्ट किए हैं, एंड तरुण वी कैन डेफिनेटली टॉक ऑफलाइन अपन लिंक्डइन पे. सो आई हैव आल्सो सेंड द इनवाइट टू ऑल ऑफ यू. I couldn't find Nikita's ID, but rest I have sent the invite to all of you guys. So I am working on 2 pet projects right now. One is to kind of curate all the available free resources for startups and even for people in general which are available. So I have sent you 2 links. One is a form where people can apply. So I would request all of you to circulate in your network. And Tarun, let us talk one-on-one. How can we collaborate in this further? So there are 2 set of resources which are already available. EdTech का around resources मैंने public कर रखे हैं, and कुछ startup support resources हैं by companies like Zoho and Freshworks and this and that. So जो भी आता जा रहा है, we are verifying the resources, we are curating them. A third list is going to go live maybe by today night or tomorrow, which is a list of support organizations who are working to feed the underprivileged. Okay, so so the idea was that my company wanted to donate, and I also wanted to donate something in personal capacity. What happened that people from all of the places started commenting on my Facebook status, and I being a limited capacity person, I couldn't pay at all the places. So I thought my contribution in India that I curate the list. So people can curate, and then of course the third part is the resources. So I would request all of you to look the form, and also make the Google form. Either you can circulate on your social media, and jo Excel file hai, which is a spreadsheet, it's public. See if you can share it in your network and give it to as many people as possible. We're updating those lists every day, and there are a couple of volunteers working with me, and definitely I would like to take your input, take your feedback on that, and of course any of you who's planning to work on something like that, I'll be more than happy to take inputs from you guys. So yeah, that's from my side. Thank you so much everyone, and thanks Jatin bhai. Over to you, boss.
I'll take just last 40 seconds. Rahul was new and he wanted to ask what eChai does. So Rahul, so we host a lot of startup programs in 15 cities in India and another 15 countries outside of India. So we are on a very unique path, because there are very few indie organizations which will have such multinational presence. Typically, those who have such presence are the large corporation-backed people or large communities, funded by a lot of big people. So we were on a very interesting path. And now that since the COVID-19 situation, we doubled down on our online thing. We had built a lot of interesting curation tools. So this is the time which we are utilizing on doubling down on our platform part of eChai. So for example, we are doing this webinar with the people around impact on COVID-19 on startups. But there are a lot of organizations in India which they did their own webinars with their communities. So for example, Startup India did a webinar. Your Story did. Every VC company is doing a webinar. So we are curating a lot of good, insightful content in a single page. If you go to COVID-19 impact on startups, you'll get webinars from 20 prominent organizations in India. So in single page, you'll know that what else is doing. So this is something we are curating, where we are bringing a lot of good resources at a single page. And as eChai's own events, we are trying to experiment with this format. So probably 8-10 people and deep down discussion. We do a lot of other webinars where there are one too many, but this is something that I also do experiment. So this is like 8-10 people talking to each other and trying to co-learn with each other. So this is what we've been doing. And thank you so much everyone for joining in. With this, I'll just close. This was live on YouTube, so I need not put in extra effort to upload it on YouTube. And thank you so much. And it would be great that all of us
Thank
can
you
be
so much.
connected.
Thank you
and
for
also
having us.
Thank you, Jatin.
Thank you so much, Jatin. Thank you,
for
bye.
inviting
Jatin.
us.
Bye.
Great
See you all.
discussion.
Thank you so
Bye,
much.
all of you guys.
Stay safe.